It's 6 a.m. at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and the maintenance team has been inspecting the park's 19 roller coasters and other rides since 4 a.m., ensuring each and every one is fully operational before the park opens at 10:30. Magic Mountain is just one of approximately 308 amusement parks in the United States. And pre-pandemic, the industry saw continual growth and is expected to reach $16.8 billion in total revenue in 2022. With Disney, Six Flags, and Universal Studios holding the top market share. And while amusement parks are meant to be fun, the industry has seen its fair share of injuries and deaths. In 2019, there were 1,299 ride-related injuries in the US, along with 22 deaths since 2010. In March 2022, a 14-year-old fell out of a freefall ride and died at Icon Park in Orlando, sending shockwaves through the industry. His passing was captured on video and circulated around social media. According to the National Safety Council, there was 0.8 injury per million rides in 2019.
We have an awesome record of safety, as does the theme park industry in general. When you look at the 157 million rides that we deliver in a year, people will trip. They will sit on a queue line and fall backwards. When you have thousands of people in an area in a day, there are things that happen. We address that on a case-by-case basis. But when you look at the theme park, National Safety Council puts out a report each year on the theme park industry in general. When you look at us versus other industries, you'll see that we are a very safe industry. You're more likely to be injured on your way to a theme park in your car than you are at a theme park.
But with rides becoming bigger, taller, faster, and steeper every year, consumers may wonder how truly safe amusement park rides are. CNBC spoke to industry experts and the safety team at Six Flags to find answers. Amusement parks did not always look the way they do today. The earliest amusement park was erected in 1583 in Denmark and featured entertainers, primitive rides, music, and games in the initial years of its operation. A few centuries later, one of the most legendary amusement areas opened in 1829. Coney Island in Brooklyn was linked to NYC via roadway and became a hotspot for outdoor attractions. It also eventually became home to the first true roller coaster in America. Following World War II, today's biggest and best amusement parks began opening, including Disneyland in 1955, Six Flags in 1961, Disney World in 1971, Universal Studios in 1990, along with several others. With so many parks opening, a roller coaster arms race broke out through the 2000s. The world record for the tallest and fastest coaster was broken 3 times. With a constant chase for the next best ride and ongoing effort, it may come as a surprise that rides were not always regulated for safety, despite how old the industry is. The first sign of unofficial regulation did not arrive until 1929 in Wyoming. Other states followed suit in the 1960s. It was not until 1981 that federal government regulation was officially introduced, but only for mobile rides used at local carnivals and fairs, due to complicated definitions of consumer products. Today, fixed-site rides are not federally regulated, but they are subject to state-specific laws, ASTM international safety standards, and other independent examinations.
Each state is a little bit different based on how they manage the licensing and certification of our rides. But it's most important to know, too, that Six Flags also brings in a third-party company to inspect every ride every year independently of what the state is doing, of what Six Flags is doing, to ensure that we have that checks and balance, that our rides are truly operating at the level that we say they are at 100%.
Today, coaster and ride technology is continuously reaching new heights. Levitating tracks, virtual reality, and animatronics are all newer implementations responsible for some of the world's newest and most exhilarating experiences. Safety has come a long way as well. Ride safety laws have been successfully implemented in 44 states and are often reevaluated. Roller coasters are developed and constructed for several years before they even see their first real riders. The time and cost depends on the material, ride length, rider type, and whether or not the ride is themed. Wooden coasters take about 8 months to finish, while steel coasters take around 1.5 years. The average cost to build one is approximately $8 million, with the most expensive coaster being Walt Disney World's Expedition Everest, which took 6 years and $100 million to build. The process begins with the development of a ride concept, which is then bid on by amusement park companies. Once a contractual agreement is made, the plot of land where the ride will be built is evaluated before construction can even begin. From start to finish, a team of multiple engineers in different specialties, computer, design, structural, industrial, and civil, helps in every step of the process.
Well, the challenges you have, first of all, is in the what I call the blue sky phase, you try and be as creative as possible. And then once that level of creativity has been successful, you've got a concept, you've got an idea that is going to be the next great ride, the next great experience, you then have to transition that into a highly focused, detailed engineering effort. And that engineering effort on every level has guest safety as its absolute priority. So you actually will build that structure in a theoretical three-dimensional world using computer-aided design.
Once computer testing and simulation is completed and approved, the manufacturing and construction phase can begin. Factories begin fabricating and assembling all the parts for the ride, including the tracks, brakes, lifts, and support beams. From there, the parts are transported to the park and assembled over the course of several months or even years. Once construction is completed, the concern for safety continues to be a daily, systematic part of the ride process. Larry Chicola, Six Flags' chief engineer, was instrumental in creating industry-wide safety standards.
So whether a ride is the tallest, fastest, or a slower child ride, we still use the same standards than when we design rides. There's a lot of standards, especially regarding the G-forces that riders experience on coasters, that feeling of being pushed into your seat or lifted out of your seat. So we've closely followed the standards that are set out in the industry. Everything on a ride is very engineered. They're very custom and very highly engineered devices. So in the passenger, of course, they're sitting in the train. They have the restraint, the monitoring of the restraint, the strength of the restraint has to be strong enough for the biggest person and so on, and what the ride forces are. So we'll go through and analyze and calculate all that. The train has to be built to take the weight of the riders, the strength of the ride, all of the load cases. Then the structures have to be strong enough. All of that being overseen by the control system.
There's nothing in the world like Action Park.
Action Park in New Jersey was known as the most dangerous amusement park in the country, with reports of 6 deaths, 26 head injuries, 14 broken bones, and a slew of personal injury lawsuits between 1984 and 1985, causing it to promptly close in 1996. In the years since its closure, the number of incidents has luckily decreased, and safety in the amusement park industry is accounted for more deeply than in the past.
Rides today are obviously more sophisticated than they were even 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But if you look at the data, you will actually see from 20 years ago till now, you'll see a decrease in the incidence level. Our industry uses the same software, the same skill set that comes out of the aerospace industry. That allows us to make rides extremely exciting but extremely safe at the same time.
Parks have to deal with a variety of challenges, like obese and disabled people wanting to ride roller coasters. A report showed that the teen who died at Icon Park exceeded the ride's weight limit.
We train them to how to have that tough conversation when somebody may not be eligible to ride a ride for whatever reason that might be. All of our team members go through what we call verbal judo and tactical communication. It's for them to learn how to defuse a situation and bring the level down from here back down to an opportunity where we can actually address the issue that is affecting the guest.
Here at Six Flags Magic Mountain, safety procedures start as early as 4 a.m., with mechanics and electricians starting the day's first ride inspections.
Well, this morning we're here at West Coast Racers, and the maintenance team is going through their inspections and their daily checks and all of the preventative maintenance items that we need to go through in order to make sure that we've got a safe operation. The guys that you see behind me are going through a very detailed inspection. They have that inspection on a tablet, and they're told exactly what it is they need to do. They enter in the data that they find. They're able to take photographs, ask questions, refer to documents about how something should be behaving. We can use this data for trend analysis so that we can make sure that we improve our reliability and keep our high focus on safety. We have mechanical personnel, electrical personnel, we have craftsmen in fiberglass and upholstery and painters, and just an entire team of people that come out here every single morning with the vision of making this ride, as well as all the rides in the park, the best experience that we can make for people.
The park's operations safety team meets at 9:30 a.m. to debrief on the day. Before rides can even begin to see the day's first riders, they must be signed off by at least 2 people from the maintenance team. Once inspections and meetings are done, ride safety is accounted for throughout the day with ride operators, who ensure lap bars, restraints, and overall ride functions are working smoothly.
Our parks are cities within a city. It's important to note that in some cases, our daily attendance can eclipse the census of a city that we're operating in. So we have created the strategy and resources to ensure that we can protect our guests and team members out, in addition to ride safety, but just general safety in the event of any type of natural disaster or issue that can happen. So, we employ our own medical services department. We have our own security force at all of our parks, including the adoption of using outside police officers that we pay for every day at our facilities too, to keep our mini city safe as well.
In the rare event of serious death or injury, the industry communicates among themselves to learn how it can be prevented in the future. Some parks even shut down similar rides until the incident has been addressed internally.
When they do happen, whether it's at our park or another park, we'll interact with the operators and the owners of the rides, and we'll find out what happened when it comes out. And until then, sometimes we have similar or the same rides at different parks. Our rides would always be shut down until we know what happened. If there was an accident, unless we know what happened and address it within our own park, we would never open a ride like that. So yes, we would always learn from the accidents, changes. If there's a change to be made, we'll make it immediately. It's not something we would not do.
Overall, many parks see safety as an important investment.
We operate 27 theme parks in 3 countries. We see about 28 million guest visitors a year, and last year we delivered 157 million rides safely with 50,000 employees. We spend multi-million dollars a year on safety. Safety is truly built into everything that we do in every facet.